Hi, my name is Siti Fatimah Nur Aini binti Muhammad. I was born in Kelantan and currently live in Kelantan. Previously, I took STIM at Mahat Muhammadi Perempuan, Kota Baru, Kelantan, and now further my studies in Bachelor with Honours in Law at UNIZA. My aspiration in studying law started when I got my UP result. At first, I had no intention to study law at all. I never imagined choosing law as my path, but later on, when I was exposed to the opportunities available in the field of law, as I have been chosen to take part in law course in my university, a seed of passion took place inside of me for having law as my career. The excitement of studying became bigger day by day, which turned to be very helpful to me for selecting law as my studies. I wanted to be able to make a difference by helping people around me to find the right way to deal with maze of life. Nowadays, the world was full of fear with the COVID-19 virus spreading widely across the world. COVID-19 was a contagious disease. The number of patients is increasing day by day. People are losing their family members, their beloved one due to this virus. As to prevent the spread of this epidemic, the government has taken steps to implement the Movement Control Order, commonly referred to as the MCO or PKP. It is a cordon sanitizer implemented as a preventive measure by the federal government of Malaysia in response to the COVID-19 pandemic in the country. By implementing MCO, sectors of the economy are affected, and a lot of people lose their jobs due to the implementation of MCO. All the governments and private premises are ordered to be closed except for the entities engaged in essential services. Thus, the restrictions and limitations arising from the COVID-19 that do have caused difficulties to many of the contracting parties who are struggling to meet their contractual obligations. You might wondering what will happen with contract which enter before the implementation of MCO, whether the MCO could breach a contract. So here let me explain. Based on Section 7 of COVID Act 2020, it stated that the inability of any party or parties to perform any contractual obligation arising from any of the categories of contracts specified in the schedule to this part due to the measures prescribed, made or taken under the Prevention and Control of Infectious Diseases Act 1988 to control or prevent the spread of COVID-19 shall not give rise to the other party or parties exercising his or their rights under the contract. So here, it explains that the innocent party will not be entitled to exercise their rights under the contract. So, the parties can either continue to enforce the contract or rescind the contract, as the parties could not foresee the implementation of MCO by the government, and they could not control the COVID-19 virus from spreading. We can refer in the case of Lee Ching-wing versus Luan Yi-ziong. A Hong Kong court rejected a tenant's claim that a tenancy agreement was breached because the premises were affected by an isolation order by the Department of Health due to the outbreak of SARS, which means that it could not be inhabited for 10 days. The court then held a 10-day period was insignificant in view of the 2-year duration of the lease, and that while SARS was arguably an unforeseeable event, it did not significantly change the nature of the outstanding contractual rights or obligations of the parties in the case. Because of the implementation, the parties could not claim for damages, as it does not fulfill the requirement for the breach of contract. Thus, Section 74 and 75 of Contract Act could not be applied. Besides that, the parties can raise Section 66 of the Contract Act 1950 and Section 15 of the Civil Law Act in order to recover or to restore the money back. Thank you, madam. Have a nice day.